Hi. Have you ever had a situation where you truly just meant to be of loving service, of caring support, and you offered to do something for somebody and started to give them ideas and suggestions about how to solve a situation that was giving them some fears, some questions, some doubt, and maybe more than just a little bit of aggravation and irritation, only to find that instead of being thanked, instead of being celebrated for your being a good Samaritan, the person put up a wall, backed away from you, and otherwise let you know that they did not really appreciate the way or the style in which the help was being offered, and they could do it themselves. Hi, I'm Beverly Banoir Brown, and on Codependency Revealed today, that is our subject. What is the difference between, in quotes, fixing, unquote, and healthy, loving, caring support? Are really feeling that your efforts are not being appreciated and you don't understand why. Sometimes it's because there's a subtle issue, a subtle problem that has arisen in the style in which you're offering the help. Let me give you an example. I'm an intuitive, and I do intuitive readings, and I'm also a life coach and a relationship coach and a love mentor, and many times in working with couples, for example, or working with mothers and children, children and fathers, mothers and fathers together who are finding that they're having communication issues not only with each other, but also with their growing families or their grown children. It comes up over and over again that they feel like there's a lack of healthy boundaries, a lack of respect in terms of how they're being treated. So one example I can offer you is there was a father who adored his children, devoted family man, worked 2 jobs to put the kids through school, to get them braces, to make sure they had piano lessons and violin lessons and singing lessons and horseback riding and anything else he could think of that would make them happy and enrich their lives. And the children had a complaint. While they appreciated to some extent all of his hard work and efforts to get the money to give them all of these wonderful enrichments, they felt he didn't listen to them. They felt unheard, they felt unseen a lot of the time, and really, they felt like they didn't want to share any of their concerns in life with him because they felt judged. They felt that he wanted to fix. Let me give you another example. The moment they would mention to him, for example, that they were having trouble finishing a homework assignment, let's say when they were in high school, he would jump on them and he'd start to do fixing behavior. He'd say, well, you know, if you had only started last Thursday instead of waiting until Sunday night, knowing that at 7:15 tomorrow morning you've got to go to class, you would be fine now. And then he would start to tell them how they could have done this and they could have organized the material that way, and you know from now on you've got to do this and you can't do that. And they said before they knew it, they were absolutely feeling like he had no respect for their intelligence, their abilities, their ambition that was very real and very dedicated to their studies. That's a form of fixing. A wife I worked with spoke about her husband, who she knew very, very much adored her, loved her, was devoted to their family, to their marriage, and yet she couldn't talk to him about anything in her life anymore that really touched her heart unless it was happy. Because if it was anything with unhappiness, he would start the fixing behavior. He'd start to tell her, well, you know, if you wouldn't get so involved with these people, if you wouldn't get so personally connected to these people, she worked in a nursing home, you wouldn't have all this stress. You would not have all this agita. You'd sleep better at night, and he'd go on and lecture her. When you start to lecture somebody, unless you're doing a video like this. And even this is not a lecture. This is just a sharing of some ideas and information gleaned from my many years of working with couples, groups, families of many ages in many different places. But it's always offered with love and respect. And you're always free to accept or reject whatever I'm saying and to totally disagree with me if you do, and that's fine too. But the thing is that a lot of times when we're in our families and we care so deeply and we want so much for them to have happiness and harmony and to be all the beautiful things that we sense they can be, we get carried away. What does this have to do with codependency, you might ask? When one has codependent tendencies, as many people do, there are broad avenues you can travel down that are going to take you off into some places you may really not want to go. And one of them involves fixing. The wife I was mentioning, who was frustrated as she could be with her husband and had reached a point where their communication was extraordinarily superficial because she no longer felt she really could trust him to really hear her heart. And so she didn't talk about anything that involved frustration or challenge or decision making because she felt he was just going to tell her what to do. He was going to try to, in quotes again, fix the situation for her without listening to what she needed or what she perceived was the best and highest thing to do. Many times, women especially, because we are wired by nature to be more verbal. We have, I forget now how much the research has shown, at least 1,500 or more words and thoughts and ideas coming through us every day, where men are more action-oriented by nature, less verbal usually, and much more programmed, unfortunately, by society until they learn new communication skills and abilities and develop them. They're much more problem-solving geared. And so it's very natural for a man to say, well, you know, we've got a flat tire, I'll go and fix it. I've got a spare in the trunk. In a situation like that, his wife would probably say, yes, sweetheart, go for it, and feel like he's her knight in shining armor and she's delighted. We're talking about something else. We're talking about a situation where many women especially, and many men also, don't want you to fix. They want you to say, I hear you. There's something going on. Let me sit here and be with you and let you talk about it. What would you like to share with me about this? Or the phrase, how can I be of support to you? How can I help you with this? Do you hear the expansiveness of that? You're leaving it as an open-ended question. You're saying, I'm here for you, which immediately lets them know you care, you're available, they're supported, they're not alone in it, they're not isolated in it. You're there. And you're present, fully present to listen deeply, not just to the words, but underneath the words, the subtleties of it all. Remembering always that communication in person is only about 7% or 8%. The words you use, the vocabulary you choose, and about 91 or 92 or even 93%, your body language, your tone of voice, your eye contact or the lack of it, whether or not you're sitting in a position that's open and receptive, or whether you're sitting there guarding your heart, totally closed. People often will forget the details of what was offered at a seminar or a talk. They will, however, often remember the impression of the speaker. Was the person authentic? Were they sincere? Was the information that was offered given from their heart, or was it all very cerebral and analytical? Could they really connect emotionally with what was being said? Very often, in a situation between two people, especially if one of them involves a woman who's upset about something, simply allowing her to vent, simply allowing her to speak about what it is that she's concerned about, whether it's a decision to be made or some interaction that was upsetting or disappointing, or there's some sort of a medical situation or something with one of her children that worries her. Whatever it is, if you'll just let her talk, 9 times out of 10, she's thrilled. She's happy. If you can just let her know that you hear her and reflect back what she said in your own words. That's not fixing. That's loving. That's compassion. That is reflective listening. And that's true support. And that, truly, can transform situations from fixing to supportive, caring, being of service. Simple, easy, doesn't require a tremendous amount from you except the very great gift, the immeasurably valuable gift of your being present, devoting some time, some attention to another human being who you care about. I'm Beverly Banor Brown. I hope that this has been of help to you, and I hope that it will allow you to remember the next time you're talking with your children, your family, your friends, co-workers, and perhaps even strangers on a bus or a train or a plane. The incredible gift it is to listen with an attitude and an intention to be of loving service. Caring matters. Time and devoting attention to another human being is an extraordinary gift. It doesn't cost 1 penny, and yet it can often save people tremendous anguish. I hope that will be the case for you. Until next time, I'm Beverly Banor Brown. If you have not already joined the wonderful growing community of souls, beautiful souls here on YouTube, by joining my channel, subscribing free of charge. It's called Beverly Banor Brown MS, and I hope that you will become part of it. If you've enjoyed any part of what I've shared with you today, I hope you will leave me a like so I'll know you were there. And if you want to leave commentary below the YouTube screen, most of you have done that, and now there are thousands of people who have done that, know that I make a very concerted effort because everything you write matters to me, because each one of you matter to me. I will read them and I will respond. May take me a while, but I get there. Just sometimes you have to be a little patient with me. All right then, until next time, I offer you many blessings, and just know, namaste. I bow to the light that is in us all.